You know, I was going for the large and big size. My videographer right here actually said to me that he was going to shoot me in 24. I don't know what that means, but I think it means that he's basically measuring how much space is from here to the floor. And 24, I just realized, is a lot of space, so which would mean it's terrible for me. But anyways, thankfully I'm not a porn star, and this is Exotic Car Hacks, not Pornhub, so get your shit straight. And so today what we're doing is we're actually taking a view here, right here, at my new Huracan STO. And I gave you a very quick preview when we picked up this car. I'm going to now give you a first look, much more closer detailed invitation into what I consider to be probably the greatest Huracan ever made. So this is a very interesting car for me because if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I'm a believer that single-handedly one of the best driving experiences I have ever had to date has been the Performante. So much that I had 3 Performantes in a row, 2 coupes and a Spider, and I thought they were absolutely formidable. One of the best cars money can buy under 350 grand. So you get to this place where you go, well, if it's so good, why don't you have one? Well, we're kind of past that now, and then I said that the SVJ was an even better car for me specifically, but it wasn't as good of a driving experience, but it's still a better car, and I've explained that in several videos as well. But then came this thing, and here's where I was really not excited and excited about this car. So when Lamborghini unveiled this car, I was really unexcited about it because they unveiled it with a whole bunch of stickers and multiple color schemes. And I thought, wow, what an ugly ass car. And I thought features were cool, like the bonnet opens this way, you know, the back lid comes off like the SVJ, and I thought there were a lot of cool ideas behind it, but I thought, wow, this thing's really ugly. I still thought it's special enough to order and to go through, so I placed an order anyways, and I decided to give it my own cues. And I'm really glad I did, because now that I see it in person, in the one color, basically, which is my color, the blue Glauco, without any of that livery shit and without any of these stickers, I think it's absolutely striking. And I think it's probably my all-time favorite car. Now, this is a pretty crazy thing to say for me because there's a lot of crazy shit here that's pretty incredible, and this really holds a very close place in my heart, again because of the color. Now, if you've followed me for a while, you know I go apeshit for this color. I've had 4 cars in this color, and I absolutely love this color. It's my favorite color of all time. At any occasion I have to spec a Huracan or smaller base car in this color, I will take it. Even my Pista was a variation of this color, which was baby blue. This is more like a baby Tiffany green, whatever, but it is spectacular in person. There is nothing in video you can see that will mimic the effect this has in person when you lay eyes on it. It is absolutely spectacular in every way possible for color. But let's get back here to the STO for a second and talk about why this has quickly, with very less than 100 miles on the clock, become my favorite car. You see, for me, and I know this is going to sound really like shallow, and it's okay, I don't believe in humbleness, but the Huracan makes me feel poor driving it, like incredibly poor. Like the 16 Huracan I thought was one of the worst cars ever created by Lamborghini because of a couple of things. The engine, transmission were fantastic, everything else in the car was plastic, low quality, and it just basically drove very, very Porsche-ish. So I wasn't excited. When the Perf came out, I got excited because they basically took all the crap that didn't work in the car, which was all the plastic. They made it Alcantara, they put better seats in it, they fixed everything, and they basically gave you a driving experience because of the ALS system that was unrivaled. So I was really excited for it, and I made it my favorite car, my favorite driver's car, and I was so excited that I just kept buying them, and I thought it was glorious. Then came the Huracan Evo rear-wheel drive. Now, I wasn't a fan of the all-wheel drive because of the bumper design, but then came the rear-wheel drive. And if you remember, the front had the new bumper, and I thought it was incredibly good-looking. And so I ordered one anyways, and I felt so poor driving it. It was this color, I was excited, it was beautiful, but I felt so poor. I was like, everybody and their cousin has a Huracan. I can't even be seen in a Huracan. It's like a tragedy, right? So I was like, it's so shit that I was like, it's got to go. And I instantly sold it. And when this car was coming, I was like, you know what? I'm going to spec it because it's probably the final racing Huracan. I know it's not the final Huracan, but it's the final racing version of the Huracan. And the reason we know this because the SVJ was the final V12 race car, and then the Ultimate came out, which is basically an Aventador with a body kit. But this car is basically a final race Huracan, and I gave it a chance in my favorite color to see how it comes out. I spec'd it with every possible option. And when it arrived, I just lost my shit at how perfect it looks. And it does a couple of things really well. First off, it takes that poverty away from the Huracan because, look at it. It's crazy wide, like it's super wide. It's got these crazy fender flares, which makes it wider. It's got that insane carbon wing. And look at this roof scoop. It's just beautiful. Like, I mean, it's just so well done. And it's just brilliantly done in design, in wow factor, and the color just elevates it tenfold by getting rid of that ugly ass sticker shit. So if you have an STO, get rid of the stickers. Like you're not 12 years old. It looks like horse shit with the stickers. But anyways, so the point here that I'm trying to make is the STO as a car in design really worked because it took basically the poverty-based Huracan and amplified it in a way that was basically telling everyone to go fuck themselves. Now, the Aventador S was already a wow factor design, and then the SVJ took it over the top. This was never a wow factor design. Even the Performante was very docile. And this basically goes next step up. And it's pretty crazy looking in person, and it's pretty impressive to look at. So, you know, that's what I have to say about the design and how excited I was when I put my eyes on this car. Now, we're going to talk about the exterior real quick, because those of you that don't know how these cars work may not know that actually Lamborghini had all of these done where they allowed you to do all your picks and specs, but halfway through production basically realized that they were either running out of carbon or it was taking a lot longer to do, so they basically canceled all the cars that had carbon options. So if you had an exterior carbon pack 3, you basically had to wait till the dealer was offered an allocation that would allow that car, if it wasn't already in production, to basically go in production because of the shortages. So what has happened is a lot of Huracans have come out without any carbon options, and I think that is a shame because I think that is one of the best features of the car is the blend of no stickers and exposed carbon, which looks striking and beautiful. So I wanted to point that out, and which is important. It was like a $30,000 package to basically get all the exterior in carbon, but you do get a lot of changes because you do get these huge fender flares that are very obvious. This entire cowl here in carbon, which very, very noticeable. The entire front bumper bottom at the carbon, and then it follows with the wing and the roof scoop. But in the front, you still get this secondary livery color here, you see, which usually is where that second stripe or that weird thing that makes the car look like a McDonald's car with the mouth, whatever. That's basically now replaced for me in gloss black to keep with the theme of the black. I couldn't make that carbon, so it had to basically be a color, and I chose to leave it black so that it just doesn't fuck the car. Now, a real good accent color, should you have wanted to do this color with an accent, would have been not yellow, stop going for the Mickey Mouse colors, a white accent and then white secondary on the inside would have been brilliant as well, but it would have taken away from the seriousness of the car and again made it very like fun. And I think that's the one mistake the specs can make in these is they can't be fun. They got to be exciting, they got to be money, and they got to be really, really in your face too. Because remember, the SVJ is very big, the Huracan's much smaller. This Huracan is much larger and much more wow factor and works significantly better. So we're gonna take a close look here at some of the features that make the STO pretty cool, and why it's quickly become my favorite. So we're gonna open here, and I'm gonna give you a glimpse of the interior. So the interior has changed quite a lot from the regular Huracan. You get these carbon doors, which are very like pista-ish, or you would say some other type of race car-ish. You get all of the vents in carbon. They've gotten rid of this forged carbon idea, which I think is brilliant because forged carbon looks like horse shit. At first, you get really excited about it. The more you interact with it, the less you like it, and the less it makes sense. Now, they've been consistent throughout. They've done the carbon on the door. They've done the carbon on the edges on the inside, like in the vents. They follow through with the carbon on the center console and in the back of the seats, like the seats are carbon. But one of the things you can actually option, which I option for $5,000+ is you can actually get these beautifully made carbon fiber floor mats. Now, if you've previously interacted with carbon fiber floor mats, they're incredibly annoying because they always get damaged. Like I have them in the SVJ and they look like crap very quickly because your heel keeps hitting. They've redesigned this whole concept for this particular STO, and it looks amazingly better than the previous generation. So if you were hesitating in doing carbon floor mats before because you obviously were dealing with terrible craftsmanship that would break, well, they've improved this. They've also improved the seat. Not only does it come up more, but also what they've done is they've added padding on both sides, so it gives it a much more race-like feel and still remains incredibly comfortable. Whatever you do, if you spec any kind of Huracan, STO, or any type of Performante or SVJ, do not do race seats. They're absolutely horrendous. Do sports seats because they're amazing. The other cool features of the car, you obviously get to open or close the door with these little things, which is different than just a handle. Very cool, feels light, feels exciting, and just really works. Overall, it would have been nice to have some stills here that say STO. Instead, you still get this ugly ass Huracan thing. Okay, not a big deal, but still something that the little details do matter, you know? So, you know, I just want to give you kind of a glimpse of that. Going into the car, some of the things that I want to show you as well that you'll notice that are really hard to see in photos. So you'll see this grille that has the STO done in it, which is actually really well done. It's metal, it doesn't feel cheap and plasticky. This as well right here, you'll see the carbon option that features at the back and the livery that continues in the back. But you'll also notice two openings here for the exhaust that have no mesh, and also openings here that were previously not available in the older Huracan, and that really gives the design on the rear a very good look. But what really hits the design really in an exciting manner that you don't notice until you see it in person is really this wing. So you see, I wasn't a big fan of the wing originally because to me these brackets look weak, etc. in photos. But in person from the back, adding this deck lid here, this middle section and this wing, you get this really big wow factor that really makes the car look incredible. And it's really not noticeable in photos as much as it is in real life, which is why I like to interact with cars in person rather than make my own decisions. The other option that we chose not to spec out on here are magnesium wheels, and not because they were expensive, but because they were complete crap in design. I thought the mag wheels for this car look absolutely fucking horrendous. I thought they were just ugly. And for that reason, because of the ugliness, I decided that I would do these wheels. Now, I'm not a fan of these wheels either. I do think it looks good on the car, but I didn't think it was anything exciting to any degree, but I still believe it's exciting enough or pretty enough to be on the car. Now, you will see modifications to this car, especially since I'm stuck with it for a year, so expect to see that obviously as part of the car. Now, we're going to go here on this side of the car because I want to show you something else on the interior here. You obviously have to understand that in most race cars, you would not have a glove compartment here. Here you do. You do still get a little bit of a glove compartment. It's a little bit smaller, but it's there. And one other cool feature you don't really see in the photos as much, etc. You ready for this? It's this. This whole section here in the middle is actually carbon fiber. It's like flat carbon, just like this. And it looks pretty incredible in person, but you can't really notice it because it's kind of dark here and it's hidden most times. You get a fire extinguisher in the back and gloss carbon here on the seats, which is also exciting. If it was my personal option, which wasn't available to me, these would have all been gloss instead of matte. I feel like gloss carbon on the inside, like I have on the Senna, just does make a significantly big difference in design and looks more exciting. I always keep the belts black. I never do them colored for one reason, because colored belts, when you do have issues with warranty or something happens or they get torn, are so hard to get and take significantly longer. We had such an issue with an Urus in the past, and I realized this, and I wasn't very happy with it, so I kind of moved on. So that's what I wanted to kind of show you on that side of it, because I wanted you to kind of understand how it all came together. The car comes with 2 keys, obviously, like everything else, but it also comes with this really interesting 3D printed key. Now, if you remember the SVJ, it had a separate type of key to open these latches in the back. This key, however, locks and unlocks this little piece, and it's basically a 3D printed carbonish key that basically locks or unlocks these latches, which allow you to remove the back. But it also locks and unlocks this front bonnet here, if you look here, and it basically allows this whole thing to come up, which is pretty incredible. You can Google it. We'll have a full review on this as well in detail, but I wanted to share the spec with you guys through this video first. We're going to do a lot of videos on this car because I need to spend time driving it to give you my true thoughts and feelings on if it's a great car or not. But it is becoming my favorite car very, very quickly from a design and aesthetic standpoint, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. So if you've ever wondered how to actually buy cars like this, or how do you get on the list to build a car like that and actually be in a position to eventually break free and actually make money after you're done driving it, well, this is the beauty of what we teach in Exotic Car Hacks. So ensure you like, turn on notifications, and subscribe to get more updates on this car, but also click the link in the training because I teach you step by step how to hack cars instead of fall victim to consumerism and losing money on cars day in and day out just because you love them. So if you love cars as much as I do, then you obviously realize you shouldn't have to lose money just to enjoy the things you love in life. You can actually figure out loopholes on how to make them not only fun, but also ensure they don't become a financial burden. So take the training, it's completely free. Open your mind and learn something new. But in the comments, let me know, do you think I've spec'd this car right? I will argue that this is single-handedly the hottest STO that exists on the planet right now. Like, I know there's another one that's really hot, which is military green, but I'd love to know your thoughts. You know, you let me know in the comments. Have you seen a hotter STO somewhere? Where is it? Who has it? And what color is it? Anyways, I'll catch you guys on the next video for Exotic Car Hacks. And I'm going to go back to just admiring this car because it's just ridiculously good looking.